And we're broadcasting. So, hello everybody. If you're watching this live or archived, welcome. Hello, Mr. W. I can see you're in chat. Thanks for joining me. And I'm just starting Trainz in the background. So, we have like a minute or so until I switch over. Okay. Yes. Hello. Yes. Okay, let me just find the right route. There we go. So how have you been? Had a nice day? Okay, it's loaded. Now I just need to switch over to it. Yeah, not too bad. Spent most of it studying from around 2 till 5 and was a bit exhausted after that. Yes, I can see that. Then had a Zoom meeting like I do every Thursday. Oh, I see. Have you done any research on Zoom, like on that company? Because they aren't really trustworthy if you even look into it a little bit. I would, if it's at all possible, I mean, if it were me, I would search for alternatives to that. Anyway, there we go. Trainz. Welcome, yes. So I'll just switch to the correct layer and let's continue removing the trees, which is where we left off last time. But yeah, it's good that basically that what's the best way of putting it? It's good that we're all here. No, one of my clubs is on it, and I'm not the one running it. I see. Yeah. Yeah, well, it would be difficult to use an alternative then. Yeah, I mean, even the youth service uses it, even though the youth service, with the youth service, privacy is very, very important, and safeguarding and to make sure that all the information remains secure and doesn't leak out and everything. Usually they're all about security. And then they use a software like that, which is banned in several countries because they, I think it was because they were selling data collected through malware or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, but I'll mention it to them, and if I get the chance, look it up. Yeah. I mean, you can always do that. I mean, there's a chance that maybe something, that it has an impact. Alright, so let's see. How much is there still to delete? Actually, not that much. There are a few bits over to the left and up here as well. But we've well, down here as well still. But I think we've largely deleted most of the trees that are in the way. Okay. Yeah, it is kind of hard to start a conversation when there's not already one going and there's not anything on screen to talk about, like, that's immediately relevant. Like, sure, I could talk about how I'm deleting the trees and then just go, oh, and delete those trees, yes, and those over there as well, and there are still a few here that need to be deleted, and just go on and on like that. But I think that talking about nothing would be more entertaining than just babbling on about what you can clearly see that's happening on screen in those cases. Yeah, and there's no one else online, not even the bots. Oh yeah, you're right. But that's okay. Although it does say we have 2 viewers, so someone else is watching. They just don't have an account. So hello, whoever you are. Yes, welcome to the stream. As I said before, which you probably already heard. All right. Well, once a conversation's already going, then it's easy to continue it and to kind of spin it off in different directions. Yeah. In that case, I'll try and start a conversation. Anything interested happen with you? Anything interesting happen with you in the last few days, Paradise? Yes. So I filled out some documents because of my volunteering, because some of the things that I had to fill out for that lasted 3 years, and those years are up now. So there were several spelling errors in that, and just empty things. For example, they spelled my last name with a C instead of a K. Yes, which was interesting. Doesn't mean it was fun, but it was interesting. Also, yes, I finished the first. Alright, I think I already said the last stream. I'm not sure, but I finished the first version of the trailer for the Coleman Mountains Railroad with music. So I finished making the music for it. Well, finished making the first draft of the music for it. Might change a few things about it, not sure yet. But when that's done, I should be able to put the route up as DLC. Because I've made all the screenshots, the description, the sessions, all that sort of thing. So that's going to be interesting. And I'll save, because last time it crashed at one point. Alright, there's still an area. And sometimes I do miss these areas completely, and then when the route's already much longer ways on, and I'm actually making the sessions, then I'll be making a session, I'll be driving and see, oh, there's an area where there are still trees on the rocks, like for example, over here, like this area. I could have easily missed that and only spotted it much later. I've recently joined a volunteer group with the same company that does our RP sessions. I'll send you the details on email. Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice then. Yeah, the company, so to say, that I'm volunteering with is the youth trust here. Well, it used to be the youth service, but then I think sometime last year, or maybe the year before, I'm not sure. I think it was last year though, they transitioned over to the youth trust instead. Yeah, it had I think it has things to do with money and where that's coming from, because it's supposed to come from the government, but then they didn't pay enough money, so then it got transferred over to a trust instead, so that more money would become available, even though by law the government has to pay a certain amount to the local youth service and that whole thing. I'm not really sure if it's going to be good that it's now part of the youth trust or whether it's going to have more of a detrimental effect. I think it's too early to tell. But yeah, that's interesting. Have you done any volunteer work before? This group meets on Wednesdays at 6:30. Think you could make those? Understandable if you can't, cause I know you're busy. Hi Slovak. Yes, hello Slovak. On Wednesdays, 6:30. Well, technically, maybe. Because there is something that I have on Wednesdays which is actually part of the volunteer thing, which ends at 6:30. So maybe, but if you send me the details, I would love to have a look at it. Yeah, so how are you, Slovak? How have you been? Had an interesting few days? Right, so I think that's all of the trees removed in the areas I don't want any, at least on this side. Oh no, there is still a little area up here. I'm fine. What about you? I'm good as well. Thank you. Although, did you stream today or not? Because I did check in a bit later. I couldn't make it for 7, but I checked in a bit later and you weren't online. Did you not stream or did I miss the stream? As for interesting days, I've now moved to Building Hungary. Well, that is certainly interesting. How's it going so far? I dropped the stream today. Oh, I see. Yes, because I didn't receive a notification either that you were streaming, so I thought you probably dropped it, but I wasn't sure because it has happened to me before that I didn't get a notification even though I did follow your channel and had notifications turned on. But yeah, in that case, that's good. I don't think I've done any volunteering aside from the company. Well, the guy that runs it, the bald musical one, I know who you're talking about, yeah. Likes to leave things last minute, so it's a bit difficult to give any concrete details. It's mostly litter picking. Oh, I see. So it's outside then. It's outdoors. It's an outdoors activity, because that's always good. My internet was bad at the moment, but I had time to make and upload a video. Oh, I see. I haven't looked at that yet. I'll check it out after the stream. Right. So I think that this is probably fine. The trees like this. As for Hungary, I did some small grass area to try and prepare myself for the grass plains Hungary is known for. Oh, I did not know that Hungary was known for that, but that sounds interesting. Please tell me you're not going to cover miles upon miles in intricate, interwoven grass plains that cover every square inch, because I've done that before, and it tends to lag out the game quite a bit, at least for me. Well, if there are a lot of other trains on the screen as well. Yep, they never actually stopped, even during COVID. It's a bit safer as it's almost always outside, or, if the weather's bad, a Zoom call. Oh, I see. Well, that's good then. Well, not the Zoom part, because, again, Zoom is not at all trustworthy, but the fact that it's outside, that's good. Lags out of the mind to a certain extent, I would think. Oh, you mean because of the grass plains? Yes, it does lag quite a bit for me. Although Trainz can handle a surprisingly large amount of grass. Actually, what I'll do is I will delete the Trainz that I've put on here, because those do also eat up some performance. So this one and the loco in the shed. I will place them again for the sessions though. Right. So like this. So let's see what is next. Don't worry, it won't be making only, I won't be making only grass, but definitely less fields than in other countries. Alright. Right, so the thing I need to do here is place signals. And also the speed signs. Actually, I think I'll place the speed signs first, because I tend to forget those sometimes. So, yeah, oops, nope, not that. That is the wrong thing. This is what I meant to do. Anyway, to change the subject, I got around to changing the title of the completed book. Oh, what did you change it to? Right, so what do I need? What do I need? Let's see. Sorry. So this is interesting, because the thing is, this is a single track main line, and putting signals here. Okay, I'm just going to use this signal to demonstrate. So, if a train is coming in from down here, so it's going up, going this way, then I could easily place a signal here, so that, well, maybe not there, maybe on the other side of the crossing, so which I also need to set up. So here, which means that a train can come up to here. So if it wants to go into the yard, then if there's activity here, it can come all the way up to here, and then wait for the yard activity to clear, and then go into the yard. Which is good, because otherwise it would have to stop all the way down here for the yard to clear before it can go up here, because this is all one signal block. Now, the issue starts arriving if I place a signal here on this part of the main line facing this way. Because now what I've done is I've created a situation where the trains can block each other. So if a train doesn't want to go into the yard, but rather carry on along the main line, then it will be allowed to carry on all the way up to this signal. And if another train wants to carry along the main line the other way, it will be allowed to carry on to this signal, which means that we can have a train here and a train over there blocking each other. Because the thing is, technically, if the trains aren't that long, they should be able to fit into the yard to let the other one pass. But the train's AI won't handle that. And besides, there aren't that many sidings up here that are that long, so it wouldn't carry that many trains. So I think what I have to do is only have a signal here going one way. So it'd be either a signal here, so that trains going uphill can proceed to this location, or a signal on this side, so trains going downhill can proceed to this location with the train in the other signal block. Since the junction's facing this way, I think having the signal here would be better, since then it not only covers the main line but also the yard. So I'm going to have that signal here, and actually I'm going to have a two-headed one here. Is this set for the right path? Let's see. Actually, is there one? That's the wrong one. Alright. Changed it to the hike. If nothing else, I think it sounds better. Yes, I think the hike is better. Yeah, that is, yeah. You say it like the trains are sentient. There's a horror movie plot somewhere in that. You're right. The thing is, in Trainz, the AI that drives the AI Trainz, while it is semi-intelligent, it's artificial intelligence, it's semi-intelligent, but not that intelligent, which means that the trains can often block themselves or block other trains. So let's see, we want the right track to be the straight one. The head angle is okay. It's only one junction we've got to worry about. Diverging route is unbounded. No, we don't need that. Limit speed when diverging route. No, we'll do that manually since we're entering a yard. Show advanced approach aspect. Let's see. Why not? Approach lit we don't need. Operate in automatic when idle. No, we don't need that. So this is okay. Actually, what does the head angle tilt change? What does it actually change? Oh right, it changes the tilt of the head. So yeah, they were fine as they were. So like this, I think. Also, I presume you didn't get around to reading the book I sent you. No, not at the moment. But I've got it on my desktop, and I'll do it as soon as I can. Right, so that signal's okay. So now we need a dwarf signal here, which is protecting the exit of the yard. And since it's going onto the main line, I think I'll put down a two-headed one. So like this one. Actually, does this have any settings I need to change? No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, as for the others, the other signals, I need one that's here to protect the shed. Okay, so that goes over here. We've already got the bumpers at the end. So we've got one over there, which is fine because that counts as a signal. So we don't need any on that end. However, I will put in one signal here, which covers the junction here and the diamond. Then I need another signal here, which covers the same diamond from the other side. And yes, trains can technically get stuck here if they both want to go in the same direction, but chances are that AI trains are either not going to be doing that much in this yard anyway, or if they do, or if they are, then they're going to be probably scripted manually not to block each other. Next, okay, I do also need a signal protecting the diamond from this side, but since it's so close, since the junction is so close to the actual diamond, I need two signals. So I'm going to place one on this side, and then I'm going to place the other one, preferably with on the other side. So like this. So we have the two signals like that, and I'll save. Don't worry about it. Do it when you feel like it. Yeah, well, the thing is, I do feel like it. It's just I haven't had the time today because I want to set aside time so I can actually take my time with it and not have to rush through it, if that makes sense. Well, I don't see why it shouldn't. It wasn't that complicated of a sentence. So that's protected, that's protected, that's protected. What about this angle coming from in here? Yeah, I do need another signal here. And actually, I'll use the tall one. Why not? So yes, one over here protecting this area. So that's good. Now I'll do the speed signs. Inside the yard limits, I think 15 miles an hour is probably a good speed limit. So I'm going to place this sign here. 15 miles an hour. And going out of the yard, the speed limit was 35 miles an hour. So I'll place that. So actually, I will place this sign on that side, just because the player or the driver would already be looking here when they're looking at the signal, so it's nearby. Right, and on this side, the speed limit's fine. Now I do need to put in an invisible speed limit by the entrance of basically over here where the shed is, and also another one when exiting the sidings, because I think that I might start sessions over there, which means that the locomotives which are starting there inside the yard, which haven't entered the yard, wouldn't have gone past the 15 miles an hour speed limit, which means that they would still have the standard 40 miles an hour speed limit, which would not be good for obvious reasons. Right, so I'll actually put one of those here. And, well, right, so another one over here. Right, so that's 15 and 15. Now, I do need to do one more thing, and that is place the frogs, which I think I forgot to do in the town down here as well. Yes, I have. So I'll need to do both of those areas, actually. And by frogs, if you don't know, I mean these things in the junction. So these little things which I can place here, because procedural tracks come with frogs already placed. Yes, the frogs. Yes. So these things here. But these are not procedural tracks, which means that I need to place them manually. Okay, so the long part is on the outside, the short one's on the inside. I was going to say, yes. I mean, I might place frogs, frog sound effects, but I'll probably place those, well, yeah, I'll place those a bit later on when there's more of the route finished. I'll do a pass placing sound effects. Right, so this needs to go in like this. And then, do I need to use the same one? No, I need to use the other one. The right one over here. And then I'll move it so that they're roughly equidistant. So something like that. And you can see how much that it adds a lot more realism. Right. So now there are a couple more over here. Well, I say a couple, quite a few more actually. And it is quite laggy, I'm not sure why. Maybe because I haven't been in this area for a while. And it needs to reload assets. Wait, was it this way or? I'm not sure. Wow. I need, well actually yeah, I'll go look at the other one. Right, so it should be, I think it should be flat at the bottom. Imagine a route set in a rainforest. Oh, that would be so atmospheric. Yes, it would be. And I have actually started a route like that before, in I think Trainz 2009, but back then I wasn't that good at building realistic routes, so I didn't like it that much, and then I basically stopped working on it. And the thing is, if I tried it now, it would definitely look better. Wait, no, these are the wrong way around, I think. Yeah, these are the wrong way around. I need to place them like this. But with TRS-19, I think if you placed that many objects in a rainforest, it would need to be quite dense. So placing that many shrubs and trees, I think it would lag quite a bit, at least if it's a semi-large route. Although, might be, well, there is an old route, which is set in the Darjeeling mountains, the narrow gauge route there, which means, well, it is an old route, which means that it is using quite a few assets only, and a lot of 2D assets as well, which means that it's not, that it's actually quite good, the performance, but it doesn't really look that good anymore because, well, progress. Darjeeling Himalayas, TS12. TS12, yes, the TS12 version. Yes, unless you've got an absolute monster of a computer. Yeah. Or at least a fairly new one. That's the wrong one. I need to place it over here. which I do not have at all. Yeah. What would you need it for? Games, probably, I'm guessing. Are you running into lag issues as well quite a lot on your machine, Mr. W? Be back in a bit. Okay, see you in a bit then. So, what are you doing, Slovak Eagle? Are you working on a route while listening to this? Because at the moment I'm not talking that much, so it might not be that interesting to listen to at the moment if you're not paying attention to what I'm making in Trainz. I'm hunting down plans for Czechoslovak locos. Oh, plans for them. So, you intend to make the locos yourself, or a team member then? So, you as a team, back. Hello, Mr. W. So, you as a team, do you want to make the locos yourself then? Makes a change from being hunted down by branded, probably. Yes. I would think so. I would think so. Because apparently one-to-one's catch with all the information needed is not enough for a prisoner to model them. Well, so I'm trying to find official drawings from company itself. I see, yeah. Well, I can see that it would be difficult. The thing is, I haven't tried to model that many locomotives, but I have modeled other things from drawings before. Mostly Star Trek spaceships, but also some vehicles. And it can be quite hard if you only have a drawing. Like, is the drawing only from the side on, or is it also from the top and from the front? Like, is it only one side, or is it different orthographic angles? So I'm contacting people and seeing if CNA. Alright, if I can Google something, right? Yes. I mean, maybe if you contacted the company themselves. I mean, you never know. I mean, yes, it sounds unlikely that you'd get anywhere with that. But you never know, because you always deal with individuals. And if somebody's feeling helpful on that day, you could get some plans, maybe. Right, so I think that's all of the frogs in place. Yes, so now I just need to do them up here. I will try. So it sounds like you can make your own locos in Trainz. No, you can't make your own locos in Trainz, but you can make your own locos for Trainz. Basically, it's, from what I understand, it's quite a lot like if you're making things for your own game in a game engine. So you'd make the actual model and textures and animations and things like that in an external program like Blender, for example, and then you would have to create the config file and script, which is basically like a script of sorts for Trainz, and put those all in a folder and then import it into Trainz, and the config file will tell Trainz what to do with it, basically. So, alright, this area is going to be difficult to do. Yeah, so you can't make the locos in Trainz, but you can make them for Trainz, basically. We got Commander Root watching. Oh, I see. Hello, Mr. Bot, also known as Commander Root. Having a nice day today. Recorded a lot of conversations already. Good, good. Yes, good. Right. Quite a long-winded method then. Did you manage to get a thumbnail for Tuesday? A thumbnail for Tuesday? Not sure what you mean by that. Oops, I'm not on the delete tool. I meant to delete those. It is, I mean, I've not tried it yet. I might have to soon though. But yes, it is not that easy. You do, I think, have to gain quite a bit of experience in that before you do it. But what do you mean by thumbnail for Tuesday? I couldn't remember if he was a bot or not. Yes, he's a bot, as far as I know it, anyways. Or on Monday, I should say. Alright, Monday. Yes, I did get a thumbnail. What I did was I just took a screenshot, basically like this, where you see the mountainside, and I think that looks quite good. I mean, you can check it out yourself if you go if you go to YouTube. So if you go to the Sharadai's YouTube channel, you can check it out for yourself. Right, so that's okay. I need one over here, and the other one actually. This one. Oh, that's cute. What do you mean? The thumbnail I chose, or what exactly? Do you have a link to your YouTube channel on Twitch? I think so. Yeah, I do. It's the page of the trees on the mountains. Oh yes. And Twitch delay, yeah. I do have a link. If you scroll down a bit, where the Sharadai's logo is the big one on the Twitch page, you can see to the right of that, there's a Discord server and YouTube page below there. I can post the link if you want. Might be a bit easier. So there you go. There's the link if you want to have a look. Right, so that's fine. Although I do need one more leading up to it like that. And maybe one... No, that's on the outside. So like this, then... You can see how complicated this intersection, well, I say this junction is. I think something like this probably looks good enough-ish, I think. Thanks, I was just curious. I've got your YouTube channel on my favorites already. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I think that this probably looks good enough, I think. Although no. No, that's on the other track. Oh yeah, I think it is good enough. I'll leave it at that. I just refreshed the page. Did I miss anything? No, you didn't. I just I was debating in my mind whether the diamond looked good enough with the frogs as they are. With the outcome that yes, I do think it looks good enough. Right. So something like this, I believe. So just like that. Yeah, this is what the diamond looks like now, with a junction in it. This three-way one is also going to be interesting. Stream's buffering again for me. Yeah, I can't change anything about that. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. Which means I do also need one up here. That's okay, that's okay. This one's the long one already, so I need to just do the other side. Well, if your stream is buffering, you can always try to pause the stream and then resume it. You maybe not reloading the entire page, but maybe just trying to do that might be good enough. By the way, Slovak, did you find any other of those weird missing tracks from your stream on the route? Like, were any others missing? Right, so I think that's probably good. I haven't found anything else missing. Well, that's good then. Maybe it was just some corruption while saving in that area. That could always be a thing. Yeah, back now, and it's buffering again. Yeah, I mean, if you're watching wireless, then I would suggest getting an Ethernet cable and plugging it into your Ethernet socket and watching that way, because that is definitely faster. Well, in most cases anyway. But other than that, I don't really have anything I can suggest to you. Okay, maybe one more there-ish. No, that's on the wrong side because that's the outer track. Can't really do that there. Well, that's okay, I think. Right, so now I just need to do this little area here, I think, and, well, did I actually do that? Yes, so I just need to do these two junctions here, and then I think we're done with the frogs for now. That's not synced properly. Something like that's fine. Okay, now frogs are done, signals are done, speed limits are done. What else do I need to do in this area? I do need to set up this thing here. But I'll do that once the route is more finished and I'm more clear on what products I want to have. I do know that I want to have gravel and logs and obviously general goods. But maybe I want this to be something specific, in which case I wouldn't want to put it down at the moment. Or set it at the moment, rather. Right, so that goes up there. Oh right, one thing that we can do now, which I didn't do before, and that is to make this little transition area here where the river flows into the lake. Because I didn't do it back when we put in the lake, which is now quite a long while ago, because I wasn't sure how the terrain would go here. But now that it's basically finished, I can put this in. So that's good. By the way, Mr. W, by buffering, do you mean delay or do you mean lag? Because Trainz is lagging for me as well. So if you're seeing lag, then it could just be that Trainz is lagging and that's why there's lag, and that's not actually in the stream. Okay, so let's see, this one's next, I think. Well, no, let's put this one in. That's too much. Okay, so now I just need to paint the blue in the middle. Like that. And now I can make this end bit here. not that big. So just something like this, sort of. Well, I can put in the other texture here so it's visible a bit more. Like that. Well, and I am going to put in just a little bit more of this texture in this corner here and in this corner here, just so that it kind of creates this like flume effect. Well, I think flume is the right word, not sure. Right, so the next thing. Okay, next I'm going to actually... Oh, right. Huh, I haven't actually done that yet. Right, because over here I had put in the grass splines on the darker grass, but over here I haven't done that yet. But that's actually good because this town isn't finished, and adding the splines would just add more lag. So I'm actually going to do that last, I think. However, I can put in some of the other grass textures along the valley going up this way, which I haven't done yet. So just in sort of areas like this. and definitely in this area, because there is quite a bit of open space here, and yeah, it would help to have some more variety. Although what doesn't help is this lag. Oh, and by the way, the streamlined train I showed yesterday, the Flying Yankee, yeah, those Zephyrs are actually from the 30s, not the 50s, as I had thought. Yeah, so just to correct that. Okay, and I'm going to paint a little bit of, well, actually I don't need to do that because there's the grass is going to be where the forest starts anyways. Maybe just a little bit there. And also in this area. Usually when I'm playing Trainz by myself and not streaming it, I'm running it at a lower resolution, so windowed mode in a lower resolution, but because I'm streaming it with OBS, I have to run it in windowed mode because I can't switch back and forth between Trainz and desktop, because it would put Trainz into windowed mode, and then Trainz in windowed mode you can obviously see the border. Well, if with OBS, if I ran it in full screen mode, it would show a border as well, which is why I can't really run it at a lower resolution, which I usually do. Back, restarted laptop because stream was buffering a lot. Did I miss anything important? No. But by buffering, do you mean that it's lagging, or do you mean that there's delay? Because if it is lagging, like this for example, then that's for me too. Like the Trainz itself is lagging, so it might not be the stream then. If by buffering you mean the lag. Right. So now that we've painted the darker grass, I think it's time to put in some sounds. So I'll just search for river, see if any things come up. I'm actually going to go down here because I think it might be a little less laggy over here, because there's not that much stuff. Nope, buffering with the circle in the center. Oh, I see. Right, those are bridges. These are sounds, let's see. Or rather here. That one might be good. Actually, I'll turn on the grid, actually like this. No, right. Just so that I can more easily delete a sound, see where it's placed. Because they are actually placed underneath the ground. I'm not sure if these will actually loop in driver. Like it just did. Oh, I see. I think this one might be good. Let's see, are there any better ones? Yeah, some sounds don't work that well. Not really sure what the difference is between that's not a sound. What the difference is between them. Yeah, like for example this one, it's not playing anything, even though it should play a sound, but it's not. It's probably maybe because it's outdated, maybe, I don't know, something broken with it, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to search for water. Actually, water, might find a lot of other things as well. Let's see, buildings, no. Water treatment tank, no. Water tanks, no. Water wheel, no. GWR stuff, no. Let's see. Firefighter, nope. Nuclear waste industry, nope. Flowers, water lilies, nope, not at the moment. Pond scum, nope, don't need pond scum at the moment. Pond weeds, nope. Water tanks again. Oh, water sound. Water side, maybe this one. Have you ever played Little Big Planet? No, I think the only time that I've tried it was when I was over visiting you. I think you started that up for a few minutes, just jumped around a little bit, but no, I haven't played that. Why do you ask? No, this isn't good. This one, not really fitting. Water sound. Oh, this one might be good. Maybe mixed in with some other water sounds. No, that's the wrong one. That's a steam effect. Water column, water crane, water tower, water column, waterfall effects, no. Okay, so I think I'm going to have a mixture of the sound water, so this one, and the other one that I had previously. So I'm just going to place 2 instances of these so that I don't lose them. So one of them I'm going to be placing sort of here, and then I'm going to search for river, and I'm going to use the, oh, where is it? The KB river asset, which I'm going to place down here. Is there a lot of this in Trainz? I'm not sure what you mean. Is there a lot of this in Trainz? You mean searching assets? Yes, there is a lot of searching assets in Trainz. Yes, I'm just placing these river sound objects every once in a while. And I will hop into driver, because sometimes sound objects sound differently in the surveyor than they do in driver. It's an incredibly creative game, and what reminded me of it was the placing of sounds, which you can also do in Little Big Planet. You can wire different motors up, different types of connectors. You can do so much stuff, and it's quite high tech. Maybe check it out, you might like it. Maybe. I'll make a note of it. Oh, that didn't, yeah, no. Okay. As in searching through menus for specific things, again, Twitch delay. Yes, there is quite a lot of that in Trainz, because there are just so many assets, which is a great boon, because it means you can do so many different things with it, but at the same time, because they're user-made assets, they only seldom follow the same naming scheme. So, for example, this asset, this is a river sound effect, and it's called KB_river. Yeah? That's a river sound effect. That's good. So if I only searched for river, I'd find that. This other one, which is basically the same thing, is called sound water. It doesn't have river in it. So because they're made by different people, they're using different naming conventions, which means that you often have to search for multiple criteria, for multiple words, to make sure that you find everything of a specific type that you're looking for. Like, for example, there are water towers, and then there are water tanks, which are the same thing, but they're just two different names for the same thing. So you'd either have to only search for water, but then you find lots of things like waterfalls and things like that, or only for or if you search for tank or water tank, then you'd also have to search for water tower, basically things like that. But you get used to it, and it is. I think it is definitely acceptable because you just get so many assets with Trainz. And at least you can search for them, which is not a thing you can do in Train Simulator. In Train Simulator, there is no search function, as far as I know. Maybe I'm missing it, maybe I've missed it, but as far as I know, there is no search function, which means that you literally have to write down the names of the assets you're using, otherwise you will not find them again. And if you write them down, then you will have to look through the menus and search for them alphabetically. You can't filter for things like that. So now what does this sound like? So I'm going to read the chat and then I'm going to do a fly through and I'm just going to listen out for it. Might be a bit quiet for you, not sure. Most recent one is 3. Look out for that one. I don't know if it's on PC. I don't know either. Oh geez, that's just cruel. Yeah, but the thing is that Train Simulator isn't meant for users to create content, because their whole business model is that new routes and locomotives are being made by developers, being put up as payware. So, I mean, those are ludicrously expensive. I mean, basically, the price that you get it at sales, like the summer sale or something, is more like the normal price. And then all the other time, it's just an additional maybe £10 on top of that. Yeah? Which means that if it was easy for users to create their own routes in that, then it wouldn't be that good for their business model. I think that that's the reason why their editor is so bad. Although it does have some things that are better than in Trainz. For example, I think the way that tracks are placed is more easier to handle in Train Simulator. But okay, be right back, sure. I'll just quickly do the fly through now. Actually, wait, I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit in Trainz. Maybe like 50%. That should be better. And I'll just do the fly through again. And I've already immediately noticed that I need to place a few more sound objects down here. And yes, I am going to place just a few more objects because it is quite quiet, and with these rapids, it doesn't look like it would be that quiet. It looks like a roaring river, which I think is quite difficult to do in Trainz with the sounds available. And I'm just going to place a few more of KB River 1. The thing is with some of these sound effects, they cut off. They don't loop properly, which obviously isn't that great for a river sound effect. Okay, so now I'll save, and then I'll do a fly through. Back! Great! I've just placed a few more sound effects, and now I'm going to do the fly through. Looks nice. Thanks. Also, one thing I did forget to do is make an indentation here, a depression for the river. The water looks a bit like rocks to me. Yeah, well, they're supposed to be rocks mixed in with it for the rapids, but if you look at it from a bit further away, I think it looks like a river rapids. I think it looks good. If you're close, then yes, it definitely does look more like rocks, because the textures are very old and they're not that high quality, at least not for TRS 19. So I'm just going to make a little depression. And yes, sometimes with doing this, the river will end up flowing uphill a little, but you don't really see it that much, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, I can see that. It does look nice, especially under the bridges. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. I really like how those bridges have turned out, actually, because, I mean, that was a thing that was born out of necessity, because I had the little dirt road going alongside the main line that had to also cross the canyon in order to connect with a road. But the thing was that it wouldn't make any sense for only a bridge to be built for that, and it wouldn't make sense for it to go all the way down into the valley and then go back up again, which means that yeah, I had to put in a road for this highway, which then created that bridge there. Yeah, and didn't it take you a while to find a decent bridge for one of them? Yes, it for these ones, because the thing is with these, they're not really meant to go around corners. So if you look in here, you can see that the guide rails are a bit messed up. The rails that are supposed to go in between the other two. But I did eventually manage to get them looking decent. And yeah, so I think I'll keep them like this. Right, so those sound effects are good. Next thing... Actually, I'm going to drive up there to see how loud the sound effects are when compared to the locomotive. Also, you can see how the map view is being distorted because of the hills, because the map view is actually 3D. Are you going to put things on the side of the bridge? What do you mean, on the side of the bridge? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you elaborate, please? I know it's Twitch delay, but when you eventually catch up. You know, rails or something. It doesn't look like... Well, it doesn't look like you could... Wait. You know, rails or something. Oh, so it doesn't look like you could fall off. Oh, right, I see. The thing is, there are already railings here. So... And the thing, with a lot of the American bridges in particular, there is often no railing. Like with those trestle bridges. Like, I'll just give you an example. Is that how you spell it, or is there a different... I think that's how you spell it. Wood trestle bridge. So, for example, like this bridge. It's a railway bridge. And there is absolutely no railings or anything like that. Or for example, this bridge. Yes, it's not as tall. Or this bridge. Well, this is a model, I think. But you get the point. This is an old bridge. It's not used anymore. Obviously, there aren't any rails on it. But you can see there are no railings. Or here, no railings. Yeah? The rail bridges. Yeah, that's the American way. Don't put rails up, safety doesn't matter. Don't think that's true. It's just that people so seldomly have to walk across these bridges because the trains carry them across, that it just wasn't really cost effective, probably, or effort effective, really. So, but yeah, there are railings here on this bridge anyways, so they're already here. Same with the road bridge. Yes, so you see there are railings here. Right, I want to switch the junctions. And so that's okay. Need to switch this one, and that should bring us all the way up here and along the main line. That's good. I still haven't done the reskin yet of the other one, which I want to do at some point. Maybe when the route's a bit more finished. So this is another sound test. See how well we can hear the river from the locomotive, which probably not that well, not that good, considering how loud the locomotive is. But we shouldn't really hear it that loudly anyways, with the locomotive roaring. Yes, but what would you rather happen? Derail and hit the rails, or derail and fall off the bridge? If the train derailed, those railings would not stop it. If a train derailed on that bridge, it wouldn't stop. But that's what the guide rails are for. Like, for example, here. You can see that here, these 2 rails start in the middle, where the bridge begins. Like, the actual rails continue on, but then there are 2 more rails that start. Those are meant for if the train were to derail, so that the wheels would still be held in this little area and wouldn't fall off. But the thing is, because it's going around a curve, you can see that these guide rails aren't really following the curvature at all. But, yeah, if a train derailed, then a handrail would not stop it. Yeah. Reminds me of the joke, 2 drums and Kimball fall off a cliff. Yeah. I think you've said that one before, if you told the one before. Yes. But you'd feel safer. You'd feel a little safer, but that's not necessarily a good thing, because if you feel safer, then that means it's easier to be reckless. So, yeah, might actually be good that some things which are actually quite safe look dangerous, because if you're reckless, they are dangerous. Kimball, that's the first time I've heard it pronounced that way. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it pronounced both ways, Symbol and Kimball. I think that Kimball sounds a bit better in my opinion, so that's what I've called it, but I think both are fine, although I haven't looked it up. And you can hear the river a bit in the background. It's not that loud, but then again, it is quite far away. No matter how much you brace or how wreckful, is that a word? You're not going to survive being in a train that's falling off a bridge. Yeah, but derailing, when a train derails, it's usually the fault of the crew. Either because they didn't perform some brake test, or because they were going too fast, or because they underestimated the weight of their train, or because they weren't careful enough and had wheel slip, or because they were using dynamic brakes for too long, or all sorts of reasons. Sometimes there are technical issues, like maybe brake hoses not working properly, or in one case there was cylinder cock, like the valve, for the brake pressures, which then meant that only the first few carriages of the train were actually braking. The rest were just dead weight, pushing the train onwards, which wasn't really the fault of the train crew, but most cases it is the error of the train crews. So if something looks dangerous, then it's easier to be careful, I think. I have found official books and manuals for sale in Czechia. Oh, how much are they? Oh, here's this bit that I didn't want to miss. I'll get back to reading the messages in a little while. Yes, I really like how this looks. Just how narrow, and with this retaining wall, it makes it feel like it's even more narrow. And you can, oh, and those mountains with the forest. Yeah, this is really turning out to look great, I think. Yes. 300 plus pages per loco, all systems in there, explained, all measurements, and 150 plus pictures per loco. Wow, I mean, if that's not enough information, then I don't know what is. Alright, you win this time. Well, there's always a next time. Can you alter the sky? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. This is just the default sky at the moment. Actually, I might put down the speed limit on some parts of that down to 30, because this is supposed to be a branch line after all, and if the main line is 35 miles an hour, then maybe 30 would be better, yeah. And I do realize that it's probably quite loud. I'm going to actually turn it down a little bit, because I did turn the sound up before. Oops, didn't mean to activate the brakes. Right, so this is nice. Slovil, you've got to give it to them. That's dedication. Depends on what. There are also official railway plans, traffic schematics too, old Czechoslovak railway schedules, manuals. Yeah, I mean, those things could be useful, I think. I was referring to the locomotive itself. I was going to say, probably, it looks a bit bleak right now. Yeah, although it is atmospheric, I think. Because it kind of makes it feel a bit realistic. It's not always sunshine or dramatic clouds. Quite often it is just, well, this. Ranges from 50 to 1,000 Czech crowns. 5 to 500 euros. Oh, I see. Any idea what that is in pounds? Give me a second. Yeah, I mean, it will look much better when we have the grass plines along here as well, which is actually probably the next thing that I'll do. Yes, but it's never a pure white sky. It is sometimes. It's rare, but it is sometimes. At least, it could also be that the exposure is just so high that you don't see the subtle changes in the clouds. I have actually used the skybox in a couple sessions because of the atmosphere it creates. But yes, you can change the skybox. Like, for example, here, if I went into the environment settings, here, I could go, for example, this one. You can see, looks differently. Or this one, or maybe this one. This one looks quite dramatic. Or this one. I actually quite like this one. Might actually keep this one on for now. And you can have them different per session. Right, so that's how much in pounds, I think. All sold out, though. Oh, yeah. Maybe you could make a request for them to print more. Maybe it's like a print-on-demand thing. You could have a dark sky or a clear blue sky, but unless the apocalypse has happened... Yeah, I get what you mean, but I have actually seen it in real life, that the sky is just white. You do see vague outlines where clouds are, but even though it's not that often that happens, it does happen sometimes. But I do get what you mean. To 340. Oh, I see. Curse you and your superior knowledge. Who, me? You presumably mean 169 to 340. Yeah, that looks really good. Yes, I agree. So, I think the next thing to do is, as I said before, put in some of the grass plines. Right. I'm not going to put them in here yet, because I might use this area for the town when I put the rest of the buildings in here. I'm not sure how far I'll carry this on, so I'll do that a bit later. What I will do now, well, first of all, is put in the grass by the tree line. Yes, you! I can never win! That's not true. Right, so yeah. I'm just thinking about how far into the forest I should put the grass, because you can't really look in that deep, and if you have shadows working, which normally you would have, but it's just my for me they're broken at the moment. I'm not sure if it's to do with the specific hardware that's causing the issue for this version of Trainz, or if it's something else, don't know. But yeah, for me the shadows are broken, as I've mentioned many times before. It's nice to hear the water in the background a bit, and I do realize that you probably can't hear it because it's very, very quiet for me, and for you it's even more quieter, I think, even quieter, because I've turned the volume down in OBS, so it's quieter for you than it is for me in general. But yes, it is nice for me to hear it very quietly in the background. I think that's far enough for the grass up there. Maybe just a little down here as well. Also, Slovak, speaking of sound objects, do you remember that old libelle with sound, translated in English, dragonfly with sound? Do you remember that object? Because I vividly remember that. That's one of my earliest memories of Trainz. And it does still work in TRS-19, although I'm not sure if you can delete it once you've placed it down. I'm not sure if you can actually click on it, so you might have to delete it with the copy-paste tool if you can't grab it. No, I do not remember it. Oh, well then I'll place it down and show you. I do, however, remember the planetarium. Oh, right, I think I remember that as well. I'll actually look that up in a second. Oh, no. I'll actually turn the volume up so that you can actually hear this. Oh, where is it? I thought I had it installed. Huh. That is odd. I'll just quickly look on the DLS. This one, I think it was. Oh, this one's an updated one, I believe. Yeah, the updated one, I believe. Seen any sci-fi inspired routes and trains? Cause a futuristic train traveling beside stars, planets, and through wormholes would look so cool. There are some Mars assets, which are quite old. I mean, some of them might have been updated. Also, I think I've seen a moon route that Kango Fango had briefly started working on. But now listen to this. I'll actually turn up the volume in OBS a little bit for this. Do you remember that sound? Such an old sound. Yeah, but you can see it. I think the object is completely invisible, so you can't really delete it unless you use the undo command. So when I do place it, I'm very careful with it. And it used to have a visual of dragonfly, but it doesn't anymore. Yeah, it's just invisible, I think. So now I just need to... Oops, that is the wrong thing. Didn't want to change my Trainz login. Just need to turn the sound back down so that locomotives aren't going to be deafening. Does Kangofango stream? Yes, he streams OMSI 2 map making on Sundays. Yes, I do know. Oh, even though I don't like buzzing noises, that sounds really nice and peaceful. Yeah, it sounds like a swamp or something like that. Well, to be fair, the sound doesn't sound entirely out of place in this route. Yeah, and I will probably place it somewhere, but the thing is, it's really hard to get rid of because you can't see where you've placed it. So I generally only place it when I'm sure that I won't want to get rid of it later. And I'm not sure yet on this. Alright, the planetarium I wanted to check out. Don't have it, I think. Oops. Oh, that one! Oh, yes, I remember that. Oh, that is so long ago. Is Kango's profile image of a dinosaur? No, it's a kangaroo. It's a kangaroo. Actually, 1 second. This is his Twitch channel. Right. Now, what was it doing? Oh, right, the grass. No payware. Make sure we're on the right layer. Yes, we are. And yes, I'll just continue with the grass. I'll watch him on Sunday. Any idea what time he streams? Yes, he streams from 5 till 7. That's PM, not AM. and I mean, it says it on his Twitch page. If you go to his Twitch page, yeah, if you go to his Twitch page, onto schedule, it says it right there. On Sunday. Yeah, he'll be happy to have you watching, I'm sure. I've put him on my favorites. Don't worry. Could you maybe let him know who I am? Yes, I can. Yeah, that's okay. I can. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Actually, I think I know what's going on. I think I turned up the render distance a little bit more for when I made the trailer for the Coleman Mountains Railroad, that I didn't actually turn it back down again. So maybe it'll be a bit better, the lag now. Who knows? Well, we will shortly. Also, Mr. W, if you're interested in seeing more Trainz content, I suggest that you check out Slovak Eagle streams, because I mean, you know that he streams Trainz. I have mentioned it before a few times. Last time we had quite a bit of fun with signal placement. Yeah, so I suggest that you maybe have a look there for some content. He also streams other things like Fernbus Simulator, which is a coach driving simulator game, as well as Spin Tires and Euro Truck Simulator 2 as well. Yeah. And that goes for you too, who's watching this. Yeah. I look forward to Kango's stream. Should be more busy than I'm used to. Thanks. Yeah. Don't. That's okay. Don't need to thank me necessarily for that. Anyway, and that's not meant in a sarcastic way, like that is not something that you should thank me for. More like that it's no problem. It's, yeah. Right. I should save. No disrespect to Slovak, but the only reason I got Twitch was to watch you, cause I know you IRL. Sorry. Yeah, I know that, but yeah, I just want to put it out there. In case you maybe want to stop by first. I mean, you wouldn't, yeah. I know that was aimed at Slovak. Yeah. Right. So, like that. I'm very touchy about social media. So it... Alright, probably so it's. Well, and you probably hit the other key. I'll probably only be watching you and Kango. I see, I mean, you can obviously do whatever you want. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm touchy about social media too, as you know. Yeah. Anyway. I mean, the only reason I'm on Twitch is because it's not my personal page, my personal thing, but rather the partnership, Shared partnership, which I'm managing. Thanks for understanding, to Slovak, yes. You two ever thought about doing a dual stream, if that's possible? as in Kango and Paradise. The thought had occurred. But there are no plans for that at the moment. Okay, and you can see just how much better it's already looking, just with a little bit of grass in it. I don't know why, but I think I'm more frantic and quiet typing in Twitch. I'm always making stupid spelling mistakes. No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's okay. It's probably because on Twitch, because it's live, you feel more like you're actually speaking. And when you're speaking, you're speaking at a certain pace, and typing always feels like it's too slow. Like you have to communicate faster, and that's probably why mistakes happen. I mean, I make spelling mistakes in Twitch too when I'm typing in chat. Perfect example. Where is it? Alright, yeah. Okay. So. Okay. I think it's good having this little area a bit more open here. I think that's good because it gives a bit more variety to the area. Does Kango facecam? Yes, he does. He does. Actually, no, don't tell me. I'll find out on Sunday. Too late. Too late. Actually, I can type in chat. Too late. So that maybe if the chat message comes first, because maybe the Twitch delay is so bad for you that you haven't heard me say it yet, respond yet, so that maybe you can see the chat message first and know that I'm about to say it, so that you can then mute for it, and then when you can see that I type it in, you can see that it's past the area that you didn't want to hear. I did try to mute, but I heard it anyway, and it did. Alright, yeah. It feels so weird to be on a delay. Yes, I know. It is a very strange concept, because it's live, but at the same time it's not. Almost like zombies, but if you think about it, but in a different way. Like someone will answer a question from you before you finished it. Yes, I know. That means that viewer's Twitch delay isn't as strong as yours, isn't as long as yours, which means that they have heard it and responded to it before obviously you got to that point. But yeah, I can see how that's strange. Are you talking about zombies or zombies? Who knows? Who knows? 'Cause I don't know what you mean by either of those. No, because I said that because you're watching it live, like it's a live stream, so you're watching it live, but at the same time, there's a delay, so it's not live. And that's where why it's so strange to watch it with a delay. And then I said it's kind of like zombies, because zombies are undead. So they're not alive because they're dead, but they're not quite dead because, well, they're walking around. So kind of, that was the joke. Oh, it was a pun. Yes, a pun. Well, it must have been a bit of a puny pun. Or vampires. Yes, or vampires. Or a whole host of other creatures that lurk in the night. Or some types of ants. Because, I don't know if you know this or not, but there is actually a fungus that, when it infects an ant, it grows inside the ant's brain, and actually it sprouts out of the head, and then literally mind controls the ant to leave the colony and go to a very, very dangerous spot where the ant will then stay until it starves to death, so that predatory animals can then eat the ant, and with it the fungus for the spores to spread. So yeah, it does turn the ants into kind of zombies, because they lose all free will. It's literally, the ant is doing exactly what the fungus needs it to do. It's almost like the fungus is literally controlling the ant. Which is, when you think about it, fungi aren't animals, obviously, but they're also not plants. They are a third type of life form, not related to either, and fungi are, I think, if not one of the only life form that can turn inorganic matter, like minerals, into organic matter, which is where we actually get the first soil on Earth from. Because fungi were the first life forms to settle on dry land, from what we can tell, and they then transformed a lot of the minerals into organic matter, so soil, which then plants used to grow on, and then animals started eating those plants, so they then went onto the earth, onto dry ground, and that's where that whole cycle started from. So yeah, fungi are strange and impressive in a lot of ways. Not werewolves, as you don't have to be dead to be a werewolf. Yes, that's true. I think that's called lycanthropy, isn't it? Werewolves? Or other were creatures, like lycanthropy, I think I've heard about this form somewhere. This form? Right. So it's not that symmetrical yet. I need to add a little bit more grass over here. Actually, I'll do it like this. You could say that fungi are not fun guys. Some of them definitely, yeah. Yes. Yeah, lycanthrope. From. Oh, right, I misread it. You actually did. Oh, right, yes, I misread it. You did actually type it correctly. Werebears, were-skeevers in Skyrim, were-sharks, I think. What about were-cockroaches? Ever thought about those? So something like this. And you can see that the grass adds a lot to the scene, doesn't it? I mean, this is just so gorgeous in my opinion, with the little cliff face here, and then the tracks, and all the grass, and the mountain in the background with the rock faces. Not my fault this time. Yes, you're right, it's not your fault. I misread it. But I mean, this area, I really, really like this area. Especially when we'll have the other bridge, when having crossing over to the other side of the canyon. Where Roach sounds better, I think. Where Roach. Where Roach. There, up there. Careful. Yes. Yeah, I think it does sound better. I think you're right. Right, so now on to do the grass down here, which you won't really see that much unless you've got the camera quite far out. So I'm not going to put that many splines on this side, simply because of performance reasons. Where creatures in Skyrim are different, as you can turn into them whenever you like, so they're more like animagi, singular animagus, in Harry Potter universe. Animagus? Oh, right, I see. Yeah, that's the thing about them. The thing that they're only supposed to be able to turn into the other form with a full moon is actually not part of the actual folklore where werewolves and that sort of thing come from. That's a pop culture thing that was somehow added onto them. How did I not see that coming? Reminds me of the sat-nav joke. Bear left and squirrel to the right. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Mr. Satnav, if you remember that. Animagus. Oh, Animagus. Oh, right. So like anime. Animagus. Or if that was a German word, it would be animagos. And animagos, with AE is how you spell the umlaut a lot of the time, if you're spelling it in English. But yes, animagus. That does sound a bit better. I'll just quickly save again, because I haven't done that in a while, I think. Actually, I need to place this over here. I'm going to place just a little bit of grass down there, just because the player is likely to see it. That's quite nice. I recently got a game called Legendary, where in essence a guy accidentally opens Pandora's box and releases all kinds of mythological creatures, and in the journal entries he says what the mythological creatures were like in the myths and what their real counterparts are like. Oh, I see. That actually, it doesn't sound that bad. That actually sounds quite interesting. Because I think that it's quite an interesting thing to take myths and kind of put a new spin on them, because with the exception of Greek mythology, and even in that some cases, but with a lot of other mythologies, they've been so badly corrupted by mainly well, for one, the conversion to Christianity, because a lot of those myths were changed for especially Irish mythology. So much in Irish mythology has been changed to fit with the Bible, so that characters from the Bible then appear in Irish mythology, or at least versions of them. Like, for example, there's a character in one of the stories that is supposed to resemble Moses and things like that, and there are also gods being turned into mythological beings, like lesser mythological beings, things like demons or fairies, things like that, even though they were actually deities in the pagan religion that the people believed in before. The same with Norse mythology and Old English mythology, German mythology even. So the Germanic mythologies, only Greek mythology and Roman mythology, a lot of that is intact simply because they wrote a lot of it down. So a lot of it still remains. But even there, the Odyssey and the Iliad, with the books, the epics that are dealing with the Trojan War, which actually did happen, which archaeologists and historians for a long, long time thought was complete mythology, until they actually found the city of Troy. But that was, I think, a series of 6 books, I think. Might be mistaken. But definitely quite a few books, quite a few oral stories, because they were originally oral stories, which were told by traveling bards like Homer. But those are lost. We've only got the Odyssey and parts of the Iliad. And then you've got the Romanization of the Odyssey, or not really Romanization, but it definitely use a lot of the themes from the Odyssey in, what's it called? Aeneid, I think it's called the Aeneid, because the thing is, what Romans did is they too, even when they were pagan culture, whenever they took over a new civilization, they conquered someplace, what they did is they integrated that mythology and those deities into their own. Because they have such a huge pantheon, they can just add more gods to them, which is how, for example, Greek gods like Apollo, and like, well, I think Apollo is the same in both, actually, but Neptune, the Roman god Neptune, is the same as I can't believe I've forgotten what he's called, the Greek one, the Greek god of the oceans. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, they take in a lot of the mythology, but they don't really change it that much. Yes, they change some of the names, but the mythology largely stays the same because they have such a huge pantheon. They can do that. But with Christianity, obviously it's monotheistic, so you can't have other religions that have multiple gods. So what actually happened in a lot of the cases is that those gods from other religions were actually transformed into angels. Yeah? Into angels. All right, Poseidon, that's the one. Thanks a lot for saying that. It was on the tip of my tongue, but thanks for saying that. Yes. All right, I missed a lot of them. A lot of messages. Right, the game set in, I think, modern-day New York. Interesting. It's a first-person shooter, so you probably wouldn't like it. I didn't know it was that style of game before I bought it. Oh, right. Well, the premise sounds interesting. Yes, there's a lot of crossover. Poseidon, wait for it. Poseidon. Yeah. But yes, so a lot of the okay, for example, you've got in Christianity, you've got the saints. So you've got the patron saint of fire, for example, or of different things. So saints have their different areas. So if you so you pray to a saint, but that is remarkably similar to polytheistic religions, don't you think? Like, for example, the Greeks with their entire pantheon, they've got the goddess of the goddess of nature, for example, or of harvest, or fertility, or of fire, or of the ocean, or of thunder, the god of thunder, like Zeus. You've got all these different gods that you worship to the one that is in charge of this specific, or at least associated is a better word, associated with this specific thing that you are asking for help with, that you're praying about. Sounds a bit ridiculous saying praying about. I'm not sure that that's the right wording for that. That's the thing that you're praying because of. And then in Christianity, you've got the saints, the patron saints of these areas. But anyway, I want to continue with the grass. Greek myth, at least before the creation of humanity. Nerdery, activate! Yeah. Is it bad that I, with a bit of thinking, could probably name all the ones you just mentioned? No, that's not bad. I think that's really good, because it means that you're interested in history and in other cultures and in what those cultures maybe meant and what they stood for. And that then means that you probably have a better picture of where our current cultural state has come from and where it might go. Because that's the thing about history. If you tear down statues, if you destroy history, then you forget it. And if you forget history, then it will repeat itself. So you've learned nothing. All those people who've lived for thousands of years, who have suffered, who fought wars because because of not only resources, but beliefs, ideologies, religions. All those people who have suffered and died in those wars, all of the information that was destroyed when Rome converted to Christianity, all of those libraries that were burned down because they had temples in them to pagan gods, all of that history is what we can learn from. That's what we can look at and think, oh, they acted like that, and we now know thousands of years later, or in some cases even decades later, or that it was a really, really bad idea, or that these evil people, like, for example, Stalin is a good example, like the way that he took over Soviet Russia, and what happened there, it's a really terrible thing that happened, but if we look at that, then we can maybe recognize similarities in things that are happening now and prevent it from ever getting that bad again. And even if people who are idolized, like, for example, going back to last stream, Christopher Columbus, for a long time, I mean, it's really apparent in movies, especially in pop culture, Christopher Columbus, I'm not sure how it's now, but definitely in the past, is idolized as this great hero, even though he was literally one of the worst people that I can think of. Like, if you actually read up on how he treated the indigenous people, like, you could easily have nightmares for a long, long time if you did it. I mean, he would definitely be a war criminal if he were alive now, yeah? And I'm sure you can find a lot of statues idolizing him, like Christopher Columbus, the hero, the person the brave person who discovered America. And yes, you can tear those statues down, but then you'll forget it. You'll forget how those people were treated. You will forget how that first contact went, how the colonialization went, and the dangers that entailed, and what the aftermath of that was. So just amend it. Just put on a little extra plaque and put on that, yes, he was a slave. Yes, he abused children. Yes, he slaughtered innocent people. Yes, he forced them to work in gold mines, even children, and then brutally executed them if they didn't excavate a certain amount of gold per week. Just put that on there. Just say, yes, he found America. Yeah? Yes, he didn't discover it, he wasn't the first, but he found it. It was forgotten about. He found it. But he was also this terrible person. That way, history becomes clearer, and you can leave this tattoo up because more people will see it. It's just, anyway, we've gone past the end of the stream. Doesn't feel like it. It feels like we've only got for about an hour or so. Anyway, I'll quit Trainz. Go over here. Go to the ready screen. And sorry for ranting on a bit. Right. Hephaestus, god of fire and blacksmiths. Poor Git was tossed down from Olympus by Hera, his mother, for being too ugly. Oh, that's not very nice of her. Thing about religion. Most of the religious people bash it into your head and want you to believe into their god. I just went, screw it, I'm making up my own god and believe in what I want. Yeah, I mean, you can, yes. And Dimitri, often translated as barley mother, was the god of the harvest. Was basically stalked by Hades and forced into coming down to the underworld for half a year, and that's why we have autumn and winter. Yes, that's a really interesting story. I did actually read that somewhere before. I think religion has its place. It's like I always say, you can believe whatever the hell you want as long as it's not hurting anyone. Yeah, I agree. If you think a duck-based god rules over us all, that's fine. But if you start sacrificing people to that duck-based god, then we've got a problem. Yes, I agree. And yes, I mean, everything we perceive, the world, the entire world, everything only exists through our perception, only through our senses, the way we realize it. So, yeah. Yes, it's not a pleasant state of affairs with the guy. Yeah. We got quite the convo going, lol. Again, we've set him off. Yes. Anyways, on that bombshell, back to the studio. Yes, but that is the end of the stream. We've already gone a few minutes past. So thank you very much for watching. On Saturday, we'll have Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I think we might finish the first scenario, actually. We might get to Tycoon on that day. Thanks for the stream. Enjoyed it a lot. We've got quite the conversation going. Everyone remember to follow. That's him saying that. Yeah, but anyway, yes, Slovak Eagle does trains streams, driving simulators, that sort of thing. Kang Fang, oh yes, I said before. Shame it came towards the end. Yeah. Yes, I know. Sometimes it goes like that. I could keep going for hours, but there are people waiting outside. So thank you for joining, and have a good night, and goodbye.